everyone, and welcome back once again to the GeekWave. This is the low-budget show. It's the show so low, it has no budget. And today's main topic, we are talking about something that is way too late to be talking about, but we're going to talk about it anyways, because that's what talking does. Game of Thrones Season 8. What the hell was that? What happened there? Why are we talking about this now? I don't know. We just are. That's where we're at today. And we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming every other week. Why not? Let's just do it. So, a couple of housekeeping things. 5-film feature, again, was pushed back. It's the one I'm trying to work on. I got a lot of movies we're going to be talking about, things like Ice Age and Burn After Reading. Second one is also in the works, but I just had to push it back because of other things. And Doom Patrolling is going to be coming this week too, because, yep, that's right. We'll be covering every episode of Season 2 of Doom Patrol like we are doing for Stargirl. So, a lot of stuff to look forward to there. And before we get into our main topic, we always go through the news of the week. We got a couple items here. One thing we'll go through really quick at the end of this, so we'll see what happens there. Because, as I was, editing this, there was a news piece that dropped, and I think we'll just talk about it really quickly at the end. So, DC Fandome. You guys know what this is? DC Fandome? It's awesome. It's a great idea. I'm super excited to see what's coming from this. We're going to get a bunch of new news from movies, TV, comic books, video games. The possibility of a Suicide Squad video game. That sounds really cool. I like that idea. I love the idea of this fandom, a virtual event where anybody can come in, be involved in, watch your favorite panels, watch your favorite actors or celebrities, if anything. Really great idea. I think we're going to be getting some more announcements from the Batman, from Black Adam, from all that great stuff. And there's another piece of news we're going to get to really quickly that we'll talk about then, but I think we might see the reveal of multiversity of stuff happening in the DC cinematic universe, so that could be really fun. I like the idea of the DC Fandome. Like I've been saying for years, DC is more innovative than Marvel. They're willing to try these things instead of just sticking to the basics, which I respect. I respect the hell out of it, and I think that's really cool, so that's going to be really fun. And our second piece of news, Kristen Stewart is going to be playing Princess Di in a biopic. That's awesome. I'm so happy to see her getting more work. I hope this puts her into more people's radar as some really good performance and acting that she can do, more than just the Twilight stuff, because look what happened with Pattinson. He got a bunch of great roles now. He's doing really good stuff. I'm super excited to see what happens here. I think a Princess Di biopic is a great idea. It's super genius. I'm excited to see what comes of that, because I think there's a really fascinating way that this character and this woman existed, and I can't wait to see what that could be. And I've said it, it's one of the first videos I actually made when I started doing visual videos. Kristen Stewart as Barbarella. You guys know I'm right. She'd be so perfect for Barbarella. But I really do like this news. I think the movie's called Spencer, and this could be a really good role for Kristen Stewart, so I'm so glad she got it. I'm excited to see what this could be. And we have another piece here. It's called Aya and the Witch from Studio Ghibli. And I'm not a big fan of Studio Ghibli. And when I mean big fan, it means I haven't seen every movie. I've seen My Neighbor Totoro and maybe Ponyo, I think. Was that Ghibli? I can't remember. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. But they're doing a completely CGI 3D movie. It's going to be like a, like your Pixar style, that kind of stuff looking. I think it's going to be very interesting. It's going to look very cool. It's a very interesting anime style, and I'm kind of excited to see what comes of it and what could be from that. So it's going to be really interesting. I think there's something really unique there that not a lot of people would be expecting or interpreting from this kind of program. So I think that could be really fun. I'm excited to see what that is. I like the idea of them trying new things, Studio Ghibli, so I think that's really cool. Aya and the Witch, it sounds like a fun thing. It looks very anime, and it doesn't look terrible, so that's really good start. And before we get into the big news of the week, we'll go to this one. Cobra Kai is going to be moving to Netflix. Bigger and better things. YouTube is a weird place to put this. I always thought that when I watched the first season. This is a really good idea that I'm glad people went back to do. And those first couple seasons feel very YouTube, like just the way the camera, I think just the way like the style is, just the lighting is very natural lighting and not that intense. And I think that is very YouTube. And I think there could be something really cool by putting this on Netflix. It could give it a bigger budget. It's going to look way nicer. And it's just definitely really good. And you guys should really check out Cobra Kai because it's a surprisingly heartwarming show. A lot of great stuff in there. You see all your favorites from when you're younger or just in general. I don't know. I think it's very cool and very interesting. I can't wait to see what that's going to look like. I got to watch the rest of that because I've watched the first season. Absolutely loved it. I watched a couple episodes of the second season. I thought it was good, and I just want to go back and finish it. Like, it looks like it's going to be something very interesting that a lot of people are going to enjoy. So I'm very excited to see how that could be. And we got two big pieces of news left to talk about. The first one is Margot Robbie is going to be doing a Pirates of the Caribbean from the Birds of Prey screenwriter. I thought Karen Gillan was attached to this. I thought that's what we were doing there, but I know Margot Robbie, good choice. I like that idea. I think that could be very fun, very interesting, and I'm excited to see what comes of that. I love Margot Robbie a lot. You guys know that. I think she's going to be very good at this, and she looked great as a pirate. So I have no complaints whatsoever with her being in the Pirates franchise. I think that could be really cool, really interesting to see, and some great stuff. But we got a huge piece of news that I'm just like, what the hell is this? So there have been talks that Micheal Keaton is going to be returning to the role of Bruce Wayne from 1989's Batman and Batman Returns in a Flashpoint movie. There is so much to talk about here. First off, do we want a Flash movie? Do we like Ezra Miller enough to see him attached to this? I don't think so. I don't want to see his Flash. I don't want to see Ezra Miller on screen in this role again. I did not enjoy him or like anything about him, so I don't want to see this in the slightest form of the word. It sounds dumb. Secondly, if this is a Flashpoint movie, why the hell are we getting Bruce Wayne in here? And then there's people saying, oh, he's going to be the Nick Fury type. Okay. Why do we need a Nick Fury type? Is he going to be building a bigger Justice League? What does that even look like? A bigger Justice League than what? The Justice League we already formed? Was this intentionally going to be the Affleck role and now we need Keaton? I don't know. Like, it's just so many weird things happening in that idea that I don't understand it. And there was also kind of some conflicting reports that Jeffrey Dean Morgan might be back as his Thomas Wayne in a Flashpoint movie. How many Batmans do we need? There's more characters than just Batman in the DC universe. I don't think we just need to see, Micheal Keaton return or Jeffrey Dean Morgan return. There's a bunch of other characters we could see. And in Flashpoint, why do we need a Flashpoint movie? You don't have to explain why things are different. You just make them different. Look at the Fox X-Men movies. Just keep making them till people stop caring. And that's just so stupid. It's just so dumb, and I don't get it. I don't understand what this could be or why he's coming back. I think there's a couple of things here that I'd like to see. I'd like to see Keaton return for a solo Batman movie where he's older. I'd like to see him do a Batman Beyond, which I think is also kind of part of the report that maybe he could be coming back for a Batman Beyond somewhere down the line. Or I'd like to see him in Kingdom Come. I think that'd be really cool too. That'd be a really interesting one to see. But I just don't know. Something about this just doesn't sit well with me, and it doesn't make me that invested. I don't know. Maybe you guys think differently, but to me, it doesn't get me excited. So let's jump into our main topic now. We covered some of the news, and let's talk about what the hell happened to the final season of Game of Thrones. So, what the hell happened to Game of Thrones? How does one of popular culture's most important and impactful shows fall so fastly into obscurity that nobody's talking about it? Like, it's literally amazing how fast the world just left this show behind, because it was like the critical darling. It was the show of shows. It was the biggest and best thing on television. I don't understand it. Like, what is anybody even watching it now? Has anybody even went back and checked out what this show was? Because I don't think anybody has. I seriously doubt it. Something just happened in that last season where everybody was either like, it's good, it's done, I'm not talking about it, or it was so bad you don't even want to bring it up because it hurts you to no end. And I'm on that line. I think it's terrible. I hated the final season. I hated most of the choices made that left so much to be desired, just in terms of character choices, in terms of lighting, in terms of editing, in terms of continuity and scene continuity. I think it's terrible. When you have that much wealth and fortune behind you that you can do whatever you want, the studio is straight up like, we'll give you whatever you want to finish this show. You can go any direction, take as long as you want. We're behind you. You do what you need to do, guys. We're behind you. And you do this. You do such a job that was so rushed and incompetent and so weak and lacked so much direction compared to some of those stellar, those incredible earlier episodes. How does this happen? What the hell happened? Because there's a lot behind the scenes we could talk about, and we're going to talk about a little bit here. But, like, you can't tell me this is what they intended the whole time, like, this is the big finale they were rushing to, because it's so incompetent. Nothing works. Complete story arcs are dropped. The writing was lackluster, and the editing, my God, the editing was atrocious at times. I don't understand what happened. You know, there's just so much about it that didn't work. And what was the mindset behind this? I will say this. I think Game of Thrones is a great show up until, I think, season 6. Those first couple seasons are incredible. The slow, methodical build, the tension, the characters, the atmosphere, the world building, everything around it worked so well. Every character had their moment. Every little character mattered. Every detail was so unique and interesting. It was shot beautifully. The budget was so nice to see. Everything about it worked so well. But then you kind of get down this area where it just starts to fall apart because you need to wrap up storylines faster, but you don't. You don't need to wrap up storylines faster. And you feel like you just want to get to certain areas quicker so people feel satisfied. But I'd rather have a slow build over like 8 seasons than a rushed couple of seasons trying to get me to one place. I can't tell you what my favorite season is. If I had to guess, I'd say it's season 2 or I like a lot of season 5, I think. I can't remember. And, you know, there are some moments I loved. I still think the Mountain and the Viper fight is my favorite. Battle of the Bastards is unparalleled in terms of scope. The Battle Beyond the Wall was incredible. You know, there's some really great moments in this show. But there's nothing great about that final season. So let's get into it a little bit here. What are some things I believe was cause and effect to making this lackluster? And we'll just talk about it a little bit. So one of the things I wanted to bring up, because I know it's important, it's the Star Wars deal. We know Benioff and Weiss were offered probably a lot of money to do Star Wars. Because if you could take that atmosphere that you did in Game of Thrones and bring it to Star Wars, that is going to be a smashing success. Something that nobody would have expected to have seen ever in their lives. Because it's just amazing what Game of Thrones did. Imagine that in Star Wars. You know how many people would lose their minds? So many. So they got fired, right? Or maybe they didn't get fired, but they're no longer attached to the project. So there's 2 things behind that. The first one is they got the job because of Game of Thrones. Because Benioff and Weiss made Game of Thrones work on television. Disney, Lucasfilm, everyone over there was like, okay, can you do that over here for our thing? Can you take our maybe Old Republic era and make it as interesting as you did with like the Starks, the Lannisters, the Targaryens, all that history? Do something like that over here. Little did they know there was actual history for Game of Thrones that they just had to adapt. They didn't have to come up with everything. So that's the first thing. The second thing with that is they lost the job because of Game of Thrones. I really do think that. Because you got your job, you did good. Here's how I just imagine the scenario played out. They make a great couple of seasons in Game of Thrones. Disney's in talks with them. Do that over here for Star Wars. They're like, okay, you're going to give us a lot of money. That's great. Let us finish Game of Thrones here first, and then we'll come over and make your thing successful. So, like, we want to make more money really quick. So we're going to finish Game of Thrones really fast. Here's your ending. It's 6 episodes. We're going to go make millions and millions of dollars now. So they come over to Disney, right? And Disney's like, okay, guys, we hired you because we think you're really good. But this thing you just did was really bad. So we don't want to be a part of that because you made a lot of people, upset. And it just goes to show you, you shouldn't rush your work. And, just because someone's going to pay you more, it's stupid to do. It's a weak thing to do. It's not interesting. So they got the job because of Game of Thrones, and they lost the job because of Game of Thrones. So thank you, Benioff and Weiss, for completely screwing over every fan so you guys can make more money. Now, I think I'm just going to say this. I don't know if this is true. And I don't want it to sound like I'm nagging on these guys because I don't know the behind the scenes. I could be completely off. This is just an opinion and a thought that I had about why it could have failed a little bit this season did. So that's just what I think. Another thing that is an issue with this season. 6 episodes was never a good idea. You know why? Because this season, I think more than any other season, just so desperately needed those 10 episodes. The last season before that did too. I think season 7 was it 7 episodes in season 7 and season 8 was 6? I can't remember, but it doesn't matter, For most of the season, we sped past key events and moments that would linger longer in more well-crafted seasons. There's certain politics and angles and character moments that we missed because we had to rush this out in 6 episodes. But in a more competent season, you could even do this a couple of ways. You could give us just 4 episodes more dealing with the aftermath of those 6 episodes, or you could stretch out every scene and make it a little longer. There's key moments we're going to get to with some of that, but just as it stands, I'm just thinking, 6 episodes, really? You guys, you're doing your finale. Finales are supposed to be a little longer to build up the emphasis that it's ending, but this was just rushed and fast, and it wasn't well crafted, and I'm just disappointed. I'm really disappointed because this was the show. This was the show that everybody was talking about, that everyone loved. There was theories, and there's literally channels and podcasts in existence just talking about Game of Thrones. And it just fell so flat, and nobody really liked it. I don't enjoy that when it comes to something so big. And here's just a little side note. Okay, this is completely opinion-based. But I think 2019 was the year that nerds fell hard. And here's why. The 3 biggest franchises for nerds are, you could argue this or not, but in 2019 when all these came out, it was Marvel, it was Star Wars, and it was Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones fell hard in its finale. Rise of Skywalker fell hard in its finale. And in my opinion, Avengers Endgame fell hard in its finale. So you got the 3 biggest things in all of nerddom, and they all had a terrible finale in 2019. That sucks. That's just a little side thing I brought up. So 6 episodes, that's a terrible idea, and I don't like it. I hated it. There's so much waste opportunity there, And just another couple thing. The lack of care or just drive to make it interesting. And it just shows so much about these guys, or just the people involved in this final season. The infamous Starbucks cup. The water bottle in the season finale. The scene where Jaime no longer has a gold hand when he's hugging Cersei. The scene where Dany is not on the dragon when she's flying above King's Landing. This is the biggest show of all time. All time. There is nothing in scope to this show ever. Errors like this are inexcusable. How did you do that? Why did you do that? How come nobody caught that in every subsequent viewing of the editing table? What the hell? It hurts me a lot because this is the show. The show that is so detailed and meticulous, and every moment matters, every scene plays into the next. All that is great. And somebody leaves a damn Starbucks cup in a shot and nobody catches it. Somebody leaves a water bottle under their seat. Nobody catches this. Nobody thinks, what's put a Daenerys on the dragon while the dragon's terrorizing King's Landing in the most important scene of the season? Why did nobody catch that? That is just inexcusable. It is. There's no excuse for it. There isn't. This is the show. This is the show that set the bar going forward for television. This is the show that launched so much creativity going forward for writers and creators and directors and actors and everyone. And in your final moments, you go out on such a whimper that no one's even bothering to check if there's a cup in a shot. And if there is, that's the shot they're using in the final editing room. What the hell was that? That is just terrible. I'm realizing this is less what the hell happened, and it's more like me ranting about this season. But we're not done. I do got a little thing we'll talk about at the end there. So here's another thing that we're going to talk about. Storylines went nowhere. There was so much set up in these seasons that just didn't go anywhere. And there are minor story elements we could pick apart, but that's for the rapid fire bullshit at the end. There's a bunch of things I'm just going to shoot at you guys that are kind of fun. Okay, here's some major arcs that went nowhere. The White Walkers were killed in a single episode. We're building them up to be the biggest badasses of all time, and they're killed in one episode. The Night King, even though he's a villain, he deserved more. He deserved a better send-off than what he got. He was hyped up since day one. Hyped up. And he died. It's so stupid. So stupid. What was the point of Arya being a faceless person? Can you guys tell me? Where did that storyline go? Why did we waste an entire season with her in Bravos if that absolutely came up once and didn't even come up in the finale? What a waste of an arc that went nowhere. Jaime's redemption. You built it up. You built it up in that last episode of season 7. He's finally leaving Cersei. He's grown away from her. This irritates me to no end because Jaime is one of my favorite characters in the show. I saw it since the first episode when we first see him. This guy is going to be humbled and he's going to come down from his peg and be something really cool. I thought that the first time I saw him. You wasted his character in those final moments with Jaime. You really did. He grew. He went with Brienne. He figured out who he was, his destiny, who he was supposed to be in this world away from his sister. He got out of her grasp. And then you just bring him right back because what? It's more poetic and more loving and romantic to see him die with his sister who literally betrayed him and just destroyed his life? What the hell is that for? Oh my God, it just infuriates me to no end. And it's weird too, because my other favorite character is Cersei. And I know that's really weird to say. Not a lot of people like Cersei. She's actually my favorite. I love her. I love everything about her. She did nothing this season. I know that's not a story arc, but why didn't she do anything? She's my favorite character. She did absolutely nothing this season, and it's so infuriating to say. It's actually exhausting that she did so little this season. It makes me so mad. Way to ruin my favorite character. And what the hell was this? Jon is a Targaryen. We learn this, and it's supposed to be a crucial moment. But you know what? It never matters. His lineage never matters. Everyone now knows he's a Targaryen. Does it matter? No. He doesn't become king. He doesn't do anything about it. He doesn't even do anything important this season. It's Jon Snow. It's Jon Targaryen. We made him this character. You didn't do anything with it. There should have been more involved with Jon. There really should have. He's a Targaryen. If you weren't going to do anything with it, why make him a Targaryen in the first place? It is infuriating to no end. I don't understand why it happened. And here's another thing. Here's the story of Daenerys Targaryen and how to waste a heel turn. Oh my God. Daenerys was never my favorite character. Her arc meant little to me, but this this was terrible. Like, honestly, her whole story, like, her whole entire existence was she's going to break the wheel. She's going to be the thing that changes the world. She literally became the wheel, you know? Seeing her go mad and just losing herself, it was kind of embarrassing. It came from an unearned place and destroyed any hope of her being likable in the end. I never liked her from the beginning, but as the story came on, I'm like, maybe there's something to this girl. Maybe she can actually do something good as opposed to these other people. Forget that. She's not going to break the wheel. She's going to become the wheel. She's going to roll down a hill into a ditch and ruin everything for everyone. It's terrible. And you know what? It could have worked. Having Daenerys go mad could have worked if we went back to the more than 6 episodes bullshit. Because if there was more episodes and we saw her descent into madness, if we saw her as a malevolent ruler who's kind of losing herself in the role, would have worked better. Would have been more interesting, more compelling, would have made a lot more people happy. But honestly, I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed in how Daenerys was handled. I don't understand why these things happen. Why do they happen, I ask? Please tell me why they happen. It's so infuriating. It's just, I'm like the last person probably talking about Game of Thrones now because everyone just wiped it from existence, but it was the most impactful show of all time. It made so many things happen. It became a cultural phenomenon. And it went out on such a sad note. Could you imagine the world we would live in? Just how much hype there would have been if this show stuck the landing. I would be excited for the HBO Max like Targaryen show or whatever that is. I'd be excited for more content from these creators. I would just imagine the world we'd live in if this worked. Man, that would be so amazing. I'm really upset. It really bugs me that this didn't work. Because it should have worked and it should have been good. But now here we are. What the hell did Tyrion do this season? What did he do? I don't even remember. Did Tyrion do anything this season? Oh, it's so annoying, guys. Like, I don't know. Something about this just drives me crazy. You know what the worst part is? You can tell that some of the actors weren't happy with the ending. And I get that. You are part of the show that changed television, and you fizzled out worse than a sitcom that lost its actors in the end. You know? It's embarrassing. And just because of this, I remember I'm talking to some people that never seen the show. The show's over. They're like, should I watch it? I say no. You don't need to watch this because it's the most disappointing thing that's ever going to happen to you. There are some bad finales out there. There are. And we might even do a review or just like a video talking about some very bad finales. But I put this as the worst finale because of what this show was hyped up, you know? It was so hyped up. Everyone had their theories and their thoughts, and we were actually letting some stuff happen, but none of it mattered. Because it just went in a way nobody was expecting. And it was so depressing to say, and so depressing to see that. I really don't know anymore. I just don't know what to expect from this show, or what it was that made it so compelling in the first place. Because the politics were so good, and the characters were so good, but it just simmered out, and it sucks. You know what? I sold all of my Game of Thrones merch because of this. I did. I had a lot of those Dark Horse statues. I had like a great framed picture of all the insignias. I got rid of all of it. I sold it all because I was burned. And it's just one of those things, you know, if you're a collector, you're just like, I need to make some space for stuff. Why would I keep this memorabilia or this figure of something I know doesn't bring me joy anymore? Why would I want to keep that? It's just going to be another thing in my brain that makes me upset and angry. So I don't want to keep that, and I don't want to have that in my life. I don't know. That's just who I am. So yeah, it just sucks. It sucks, guys. So let's jump into some rapid fire bullshit stuff that happened this season. Bran as the king is dumb. Make him a three-eyed raven. Do that. Jaime going back to Cersei is dumb. The episode with the White Walker was so poorly lit and edited, it was dumb. Jon going to the north in the final moments is dumb. Jorah's death was really dumb. Wasting Lena Headey and Peter Dinklage this badly is dumb. Arya ending her rage because of the Hound is dumb. Arya killing the Night King is dumb. So much of this is dumb. And you know what? There's some good in here. Like, I don't want to say it's all bad. There's some good. Theon gets a good ending. I liked Theon's ending. I think he had the best ending of the entire show because he became a good man in the end, and I like that. I think Sansa did something. Did Sansa do something? She must have. It's Sansa. Of course she had to have done something. What else would she be? So, Sansa. Did she do good? I think she did good. Well, either way, Theon, good. Sansa, probably good. Everyone else, bad. So let's try to get this last little bit out before my camera dies. Let's answer the question posed at the beginning of this video by me. What the hell happened to the final season of Game of Thrones? In my honest opinion, somebody who has no idea what's going on, it was hubris. The showrunners believed they were invincible. They have taken fans this far and believe they could get away with cutting back and simplifying the story. And once a better offer was on the table from Disney and Star Wars, it was only a matter of time before the whole thing came crashing down. And everyone else cared but the people who were making it. So, what the hell happened to Game of Thrones Season 8? The creators stopped caring because they could make more money elsewhere. And why wrap up storylines? Just enjoy the story that happened, you know? It's way more interesting. We're not going to be doing any recommendations this week because it's not worth it. How can I recommend Game of Thrones to you? How could I? I could tell you to go watch Cobra Kai. I could tell you to go, maybe read the George R. R. Martin books, but he hasn't finished the new one. So I want to say thank you guys for watching this video and never talk about Game of Thrones again because it's going to fade back into obscurity when everything is said and done. It's just one of those shows that nobody is going to talk about again, which kind of sucks. And we might come back and talk about the other seasons in another retrospective, but I'm burned. This show burned me. It took my favorite characters and did nothing with them. So that sucks the huge boner. Yes, it does. So, you guys, if you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out more of the GeekWave. We do a lot of great stuff here. And I'll tell you guys right now, our next video, we are going to be talking about Image Comics. And that's going to be a really fun one to talk about, so I can't wait to show that with you guys. And as always, you can check me out on Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. You guys know I'll be there, you'll be there, we'll all be there having fun. If you go back and watch Game of Thrones, please let me know, because I'm excited to see if people like this finale. I don't think they do, but excited to see what you guys think. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck. I forgot it. I was going to say a quote from Game of Thrones, but I forgot it. What is the quote? Winter's coming. No, that sucks. What's another quote from Game of Thrones? All men must die? I don't know. Bye. Tsunami Studios.